Hey, what's up guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Qliphort deck profile. So Qliphorts are a deck that's a really kind of Duelist Alliance era deck. It's a super fun deck if you guys have never played it, and it is a pendulum deck, regardless of what you see on top. But basically it makes Qliphort towers and just wins the game, because this card is almost like a Obelisk, Slifer, and Raw level awesome. And it was one of those cards that I really thought needed to be banned back in the day, and was banned for a while. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight on this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and let's get straight on into this. So the only reason that this card is actually not banned now is because of link monsters. So let's go ahead and say we're going to be playing 2 copies of it and read the effect. So the effect of a Qliphort Tower is that it must be tribute summoned by tributing 3 Qliphort Towers, and it cannot be normal summoned or set. If this card is normal summoned or set, it is unaffected by the spells and trap effects and by the activated effects of any monster whose original level/rank is lower than this card's current level. All special summon monsters lose 500 attack in events, and once per turn you can make your opponent send a monster from their hand or their side of the field to the graveyard, their choice. But the really important thing about this card is that by having this card, it is affected by link monsters, so that's the only downside of this card. But this card used to be like so broken, but now it's not because of link monsters. So then we play 1 copy of Qliphort Stealth. Now the important thing to keep in mind now is I am going to be going by scale. So I'm going to show you guys all the level 1 scales and then all the level 9 or rank scale 9s. So Stealth is the first one that we're going to be playing. So Stealth is basically, you can special summon, you cannot special summon monsters except Qli monsters, and this effect cannot be negated. All Qli monsters you control gain 300 attack, and then the effect of this card is when all the Qliphort monsters share the ability that you can normal summon them without tributing, and if this card is normal summoned without tributing or special summoned, its level becomes 4 and its original attack becomes 1800. If this card is normal summoned or set, it is unaffected by the activated effects of any monster whose original level/rank is lower than this card's current level. And then they all share the ability that when this card is tribute summoned by tributing a Qli monster, and then they gain an effect. This one's particular effect is that you can target a card on the field and return it to the hand. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation. It's a good one-of. I don't think I'd ever played it more than one, though, anymore. Then we play 3 copies of Disc. Disc is really good. Its effect is that if it's tribute summoned by tributing a Qli monster, you can special summon 2 Qli monsters from your deck but destroy them during the end phase. But it does get them out of the deck, so they go to the extra deck, so you can use them for later and use them as link material if you don't have Qlis in your, extra monster summon, or you can use them to summon Qliphort Genius. But the other cards that we're going to be playing is 3 copies of Qliphort Carrier. Qliphort Carrier's effect is that if it's tribute summoned using a Qliphort monster, let's see, where is it? If this card is tribute summoned or tributed, if it's tributed, you can target 1 monster on the field and return it to the hand. All of the ones that are level 6, which is the Carrier and Helix, share abilities that if they're tributed, and all the high level ones share abilities that if they're tribute summoned. So then Monolith's ability is a normal monster. Monolith's Pendulum ability is that you cannot special summon this card except with Qli monsters, and this card cannot be negated. Once per turn during the end phase, if you tribute summoned this turn, you can draw cards equal to the number of Qli monsters you tributed for a tribute summon. So if you summon something like a Qliphort Towers, you're going to draw 3 cards, which is really busted. Then we play Double Shell. Shell is the effect of that all monsters your opponent controls lose 300 attack, and then if this card is tribute summoned, you can attack. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, and if this card attacks a defensive position monster, you inflict piercing damage. So Shell's really good to be able to just do extra piercing damage and do extra damage. It's kind of like your shield or your sword of the deck that you're going to use. 3 copies of Helix. Helix is really good too because it has the ability that if it's tributed, if this card is tributed, you can target 1 spell card on the field and destroy it, or spell a trap on the field and destroy it, and all monsters your opponent controls lose 300 additional attack points, which is really good. Then we play for the last Qliphort monster. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Scout, which I'm so excited that we can play 3 copies of Scout again. Like, it's been a couple of lists since we've been able to do that, but if you guys didn't play Qliphorts before, there was at one point that you could only play 1 Scout. And it was like, oh my god, this deck is so inconsistent now. But now you can play 3 Scout, and Scout's ability is that you can, or if you lose a Scout, it's over with. You pay 800 life points to add a Qliphort card from your deck to your hand. Then for the last 3 monsters, we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Ash Blossom is basically you discard it to negate stuff, and that's the big thing that you want to do with this. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Called by the Grave because you just really don't want to get hand trapped. Getting hand trapped sucks, so we play 3 copies of Called by the Grave. 3 copies of Laser Quill or Qliphort. During your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Qliphort monster in addition to your normal summoner set. And the normal summon of Qli monsters cannot be negated, which is really good to be able to not negate them with like Solemn Judgment and Solemn Strike. This is a really good tech card that I think more people should play at 3, and that is 3 copies of Limiter Removal. It doesn't matter if they go to the extra deck, but this card doubles the attack of all machine monsters. You guys know it if you've ever played a machine monster deck. Basically, it makes them all really big. It makes it really easy to OTK your opponent. This card is at 3, so why not play it at 3? 3 copies of Sacrifice. Sacrifice is a super, super good card in the deck. It's kind of what makes the deck run. This card at one point was at 1-2, and it was crazy. You get to equip a Qli monster with it, and it gains 300 attack, and it cannot be destroyed by battle. The equipped monster can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a Qli monster, and this card is sent to the graveyard. You can add a Qli monster from your deck to your hand. So it also searches Qli monsters as well, which is really, really, really good. 2 copies of Iron Draw. Iron Draw is really easy to resolve in the deck. I don't know why more people don't play this card. If you control exactly 2 machine monsters and no other cards, you get to draw 2 cards, and for the rest of the turn after this card resolves, you can only special summon once, which is not that big of a deal in this deck. It's okay to just normal summon or special summon, you know, 1 more time, because sometimes you'll have 2 Qliphort monsters on the field from a previous turn, or you normal summon 1 on the first turn and didn't get destroyed, and then you'll have a second one on the field, and then you'll Pendulum Summon out after this is activated, and then you've only special summoned 1 more time. So then we play 3 copies for the last 3 cards that are spells. We play 3 copies of Summoner's Art. Basically, this adds a Monolith or Qliphort Scout directly from our deck to our hand, because it searches a level 5 or higher normal monster from our deck to our hand, which they are level 5 or higher. They're level 5s. So they fall right into the category. So you need 3 copies of it. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. We do actually play 3 traps in the deck. I know, kind of weird for decks nowadays, isn't it? Climate Change, or Climate, it's like Climate, but Climate Change. You can add 3 face-up Qliphort or Qli monsters from your extra deck to your hand. this kind of bypasses the abilities of like link monsters and stuff like that, so you just add them back to your hand and then just pendulum summon them all out. 1 Recreate. Recreate is if a monster is normal or flip summon and it's level 4 or lower, negate its effects until the end phase of the turn. And if a monster is special summoned and it's level 5 or higher, negate its effects until the end phase of the turn. Also, banish it when it leaves the field. Or banish it when it leaves the field. If there is no Qli monsters on the field except Recreate, send this card to the graveyard. So this card's really good to be able to just negate them on the field to get them out. So this card's really, really good as a 1-of. And then I play a Skill Drain as well, because Skill Drain negates the, effects of your Qliphort monsters. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So this deck, like I said, you guys should definitely give it a try. The main deck is super budget too. Like, this deck really is. I know I say that a lot in the deck profiles, but this deck is really, really budget. Like, I don't think any of the cards in the main deck is over like $3. So then we play 2 Qliphort Geniuses. You really only need 2. I know that's really dark, but Qliphort Genius is a really good card in the deck. This Link Summon card is unaffected by spells and trap effects, and the activated effects of other Link monsters. And then once per turn, you can target 1 other card on either player's field except this card, and both those cards have their effects negated until the end phase of the turn. And then while you have 2 or more special summon, when you have 2 or more monster special summon to zones this card points to, you get to add a level 5 or higher machine monster from your deck to your hand, which is really good. Mrs. Radiant, because everything's Earth. Nightmare Unicorn, because you can bounce stuff. Phoenix, because you can pop spells and traps. Cerberus, because you can pop monsters. Electromite, because it's pendulums. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, because a lot of them, if you pendulum summon them out and they're level, 7 or higher, and you link them away with this, if you don't have the pendulum scales, you can use this to just, you know, go into plays. Borrelsword Dragon, because it's an option. Apotheosa, Bow of the Goddess, it's really kind of easy to make this. And then Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax is another really easy way to make cards in this deck. You don't really go into the extra deck except for Qliphort Genius for the most of the point, but there are options if you want to go into them. Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy, you can make this with level 8 Qliphort monsters, but you have to like Pendulum Summon, and then if you don't have Pendulum monsters in your Pendulum Zone, because you can't spell summon anything but Qliphort monsters with their effects. And then for the rank 4s, we're going to be playing Baguska, Dagosto Emerald, and Exciton Knight. Dagosto Emerald's really good, and a lot of people don't realize this, but if you do have to discard ever your Qliphort Scout or your copy of Monolith, you can bring them back onto the field with Dagosto Emerald. Or if you send Qliphort Towers, if Qliphort Towers is sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle it back into the deck with 2 other monsters and then draw a card and hopefully get this back. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. It's super, super fun to play around with. It's a really, really, really budget deck for the main deck, not the extra deck. And you could build the deck and just play this and be okay in the extra deck. 3 of these or 2 of these, however you want to play it, and be all right. So without further ado, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.